The bearish data from the US Energy Department did not stop the uptrend in the oil market. Investors preferred to focus on the upcoming mass vaccination program instead. The vaccine rollout spurred hopes for a recovery in fuel demand. Yesterday, the U.S. Energy Information Administration reported a rise in weekly crude stockpiles by 15 million barrels per day, while markets expected to see a drop by 1 million barrels. Usually, such an increase in oil supply puts considerable pressure on oil prices. However, today investors have shrugged off this news amid the optimism about the COVID-19 vaccine. Following the approval of the vaccination program in the UK, Canada said it would also start inoculations next week. The imminent arrival of the same vaccine is expected in the US. Vaccination could start as soon as this weekend in the United States if a panel of advisors gives emergency use authorization during its meeting on Thursday. Immediately after the industry data release, crude oil prices slipped by 1%, but investors quickly realized that this report could have a short-term effect. Global vaccination should soon revive economic activity and boost the demand for fuel. Brent oil futures for February rose above $49 per barrel. Meanwhile, WTI bulls are trying to push the price above $46 per barrel. Another factor to support oil prices was the risk of a possible oil supply disruption. Thus, a fire broke out in two wells in a small oil field in northern Iraq. The government called this incident a terrorist attack. Amid the optimistic sentiment, Brent has a good chance of testing the level of $50 per barrel. Still, there are no fundamental factors to help oil settle at or above this mark. Traders keep monitoring the news on the vaccination process and the pace of the coronavirus spread. In case the global health situation deteriorates, it could trigger a strong bearish movement on oil, so there is a risk that oil may finish this week below the current levels. Yesterday, the ruble closed the session in the red against the US dollar, so it moved away from its target found at the level of 73. On Thursday, the ruble is trying to win back some losses and opened the trade in the positive territory, having gained more than 0.5%. Despite a slight rise, the ruble's prospects of growth are rather weak. It seems that the ruble bulls are losing momentum, so the Russian currency may move sharply lower in response to any negative news. According to analysts, the dollar-ruble pair is likely to move towards the level of 75. On the other hand, technical factors look more favorable for the ruble. Yesterday's move just above the mark of 74 rubles per dollar is associated with a slight correction. It's still possible that the ruble will gain enough strength to break through the level of 73, and this will mostly depend on the current background. Today, the market sentiment is moderately positive. Optimism over vaccination is limited by the lack of progress in the US stimulus talks. In the coming days, markets will focus on the ECB meeting and the EU summit, where the Brexit deal will be discussed. That's all for now. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.